All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the program. We are live here at the noon hour. It's a lunchtime edition, special edition on a Friday, too, of Hall Around Town Radio's Backstage Hall Pass. And we've got some great guests today we're going to be chatting with, and a big event going on this Saturday at the Blue Note. So we're going to chat about that as well. Let me welcome to the show today Melissa Singer-Reed from Dv8 and Steve Frisch from the Rusty Griswolds. How you doing, folks?
Great.
It's great to have you here today.
It's great to be here.
You know, Steve, I'm going to put you up on top here with Melissa. How's that? There we go. We just rolled you right up there. And I want to talk real quick about this event here in a few minutes, but I want to get into a little history. For those who have had their head in the sand to live music for the last 20 years or whatever here in the tri-state area, let me start with Melissa up there in the top right-hand corner. Melissa, throw us a little history of Dv8 because it's one of the premier bands in Cincinnati.
Thank you. Well, I mean, we started, 15 years ago in April of 2008. And, Chuck and I, my late husband, had been in another band, another project with Doug Drew, our drummer, for a long time. And that had kind of run its course, and I really wanted to do something different. And I always said to Chuck, I want to do this right one time, this cover band thing. I want to do it right before I don't do it anymore. So we took the leap of faith, and we started Dv8 and got all the right players in the seats on the bus, and away we went. But I have to credit my friend Steve Frisch, because certainly the Rusties were very, very big, and still are very, very big in this community of music that we all love and share. And Steve was a great mentor, and is still a great mentor to me, and just a great friend, and supported me as I was trying to put things together, as Chuck and I were trying to build Dv8. So Steve has not aged one day in that time, which is very stressing to me.
I was going to say that too. I
know he still looks like a young boy. But anyway, yeah, just a great friendship that we have built, and we're just so excited to do this show with them at the Blue Note Saturday.
And yeah, we'll get into all the details of that in a little bit, but let me kick it over to Steve. Steve, I just want to say that I remember the first time I saw the Rusty Griswolds. It was at an outdoor festival somewhere years and years and years ago, and I was just blown away by the sheer talent and energy you guys had out there. And the crowd was, you had some faithful followers. So give us a little history about your background as well.
Sure. So the Griswolds started in 1999. And it really was, when we started out, we were an old high school band back from the 80s. And that was the original. We were called Free Reigns back in the 80s. And we all went off and did original music and did different things. And we're out of the music for a while. And somewhere along the way, we recognized the 80s music was kind of come back on our radio after the grunge era of the 90s. And so we started the band really just to get together once a month, just to see each other. And our original plan was to put amps up on a chair and go to a bar and play once a month. And the timing of it just took off, though. The 80s kind of caught a wave again. And I think people in our age group had dispendable incomes. They started going out, and the kids were old enough they could, leave them with a sitter or leave them alone. But so we started in 99. And really it just started growing. We ended up playing regularly. I think at our peak, we were doing maybe 65 shows a year, which was a lot for us. And it led to a lot of good things. We started doing, I say it's an 80s cover band, and that's all we are. We've had very unique experiences. We've played for the Reds and the Bengals, and been able to travel a little bit. We've never wanted to travel too much, but we've done everything we wanted to do. And it's been a great thing. I was 35 when we put the Griswolds together. And I remember my friends and family saying, haven't you outgrown this yet? And
I love it.
It's like, I would say music is a strange addiction. You stop playing and all you want to do is play again. And
Sure.
And now we've been doing it. All my friends are like, man, I wish I played in the 80s cover band. They should have taken piano lessons, they all say. So
Well, it was funny what you said there about grunge in the 80s resurgence and all that. I was sitting having a chat with Kip Winger not too long ago, and Kip Winger told me, he said, he goes, we were at the height of our glory in Winger, and I thought we were going to be rock stars for life. And then Pearl Jam came along, and he says, they didn't kill the 80s star. He said, they buried us. He said, they put us underground, and we had to climb our way out of the dirt. So I thought that was pretty funny. And, the resurgence of it is just amazing. And Melissa, you guys do a lot of, classic tunes as well in your set. And one thing I love about the difference of the two bands is I look at the Rusty Griswolds as this giant party on stage. Not to say that Dv8's not a party, but it's a totally different show. So when you go to this show this weekend, you're going to see two different styles, so to speak. And how would you guys describe it if you were telling somebody who's never seen either band? Somebody take it and tell me how you would describe this festival of music we're going to have on Saturday.
Go ahead, Steve.
Sure. So, first of all, I think our audiences are very similar, and they're music lovers and just enjoy quality performances, and that's Dv8 is all of that, right? They're
top shelf,
top shelf,
top shelf. Yes.
I think we're very complementary as far as styles go. I've always said our only business plan ever since high school was play with the girls want to hear and the guys will follow. That's been our only business plan ever, and so our set list is more female, likable, friendly historically. And I would say if someone asked me about Dv8, I would say they probably play a little more dude rock, and more classic rock that way. And there's audiences for both, right? But that's our approach has been more bring the girls in, and the guys would follow.
Yeah, I love that term dude rock too. That was pretty good. I like that. But yeah, it's interesting to see the differences in the two bands. And I think that's a great way you described it here. And always a great business model in music has been if the ladies come, the guys will follow. And it's just a given. And you guys have that energy and style on stage that I think has been missed. I don't see a lot of dates of the Rusty Griswolds playing, and I think that's been missed by a lot of people. I see that when Dv8 took some time off and they came back just a few short weeks off, and then bam, man, people are back because they're missing their style of music and the people that are out there. Yeah, so why the collaboration is my question. How did you guys pull this off? Did you put it together, or did Doug out there do it, or what's the story here?
Yeah, well, first of all, let me say thank you for saying we're missed, and part of it's just changed from COVID with our band and what we've been doing. And, but Melissa will agree too. I think what we realize, there's a whole bunch of people that we are the soundtrack to our lives, and we're their linkage for friendships and for relationships. And, they celebrate good times with us and they get through bad times with us. And when we disappear, we are part of that support group that goes away. And so that's not lost on us. That's really valuable to us. And I know Melissa realizes they're a huge part of the community with, creating community for people. Our relationship goes back. I mean, again, Melissa and I have been members of Dv8 for years. We've always played in parallel bands throughout the years. But I think our relationship deepened a lot when, through our charity work with Rusty Ball, we started, my vision of our charity stuff was to get other bands involved in this community thing. And so we invited Dv8 in to be part of our event with some other bands at the time. And it was just great for the crowd, right? And great for the mission. And from that, our relationship got deeper. We've always had mutual respect and admiration for each other. And we've done this Valentine's show, I think 2 times prior together, prior to COVID. And when COVID hit, everything stopped, and we got off the rails as far as our scheduling goes. But Doug at Blue Note's always been like, hey, let's get the show back together, So really, Doug at Blue Note is the mastermind of putting us together for a show. And it's always worked out really good. I say our audience does cross over, and it's going to be a great night of music. Melissa, what's your thoughts on it?
Oh, absolutely. It's a great time. I mean, there's so much love and camaraderie. as you know, Scott, the music community, and you do a great job, Scott, of bringing that together and to the folks online and in the public every week, every day. And can't thank you enough for that because it's so important.
Thank you.
You know, I mean, the Rusties and Sullivan Jansen will be there as well in the pub tomorrow night. And they are well-known and beloved West Side bands, right? That's where they both started. And of course, the Blue Note started on the West Side.
Yep.
And so, you know, I remember going to the Blue Note and seeing these guys play and thinking, wow, you know, I just love to get up there and, you know, sing with them or just, you know, be their friends, you know, right? And I'm so proud today to say I have sung with them. They, you know, are my friends. And actually, Jay Jansen and I are going to be doing a little collaborating and on a song. And I would invite Steve and or Eric to come and collaborate as well with us
Nice.
because, you know, that's what's fun. And we love it. And it shows, I think, the crowd, they get it. And to Steve's point, we are with people through their best times and their worst times. And they're with us. Gosh, I know.
Absolutely.
Believe me, the support is great. So
Yeah, and the community that surrounds both of your bands is just like none other, and they're faithful followers. I mean, they sometimes grumble about things, song choices, and all those things, set lists, and
Oh yeah.
let's for the people that aren't out there, that aren't really watching you guys play on a routine basis. Just without giving the show away, Steve, throw a few songs at me, and then Melissa, I'll ask you the same thing. A few songs that people are going to be able to expect to hear when they're there on Saturday night.
Well, we do all
Got him.
classic things. So, you know, Come on, Eileen. I don't know. I got a set list here. Let's see what all we got here. Just Can't Get Enough. We're going to throw some throwback things in that we have not done. Our original drummer Greg Martini's performing with us on Saturday night, and so I think we're doing maybe some old Rush, some Subdivisions. I think will be on the set list, which we love. It'll be different for our crowd, but that's what we kind of grew up on. But anything dance related, it's, you know, anything from Aha, Take on Me, and Billy Joel May Be Right. Come Sail Away, Living on a Prayer, you know, all the.
You're running the MTV set list. It sounds like to me a little bit.
You know,
yeah.
MTV is a good way of phrasing what we target. Yeah.
Yeah, and those songs are timeless, and people remember growing up and seeing those songs on TV, on the videos, and you know, they can tell you before they were the first time they saw that and that kind of thing. So that's really cool. And Melissa, I've seen you play a lot, but you've been changing it up some lately. So what do the people have that they can look forward to on Saturday?
we have been changing it up. I mean, we're doing, you mentioned Winger earlier, Kip Winger. We're doing a Winger tune now. We're doing, we'll do the Triumph. We'll do the stuff that people love to hear and ask us for every time that we come out. We'll do some Journey. We'll do the typical suspects, but there's a lot. Yes, we've added a lot of new music, some new Van Halen, some, just again trying to mix it up for the folks and give our guys a chance to shine, because again, I'm very blessed. I always say I'm the weakest link in that band, and it's the truth that all of them are so talented, and it's my pleasure to step on the stage with them every night and have the crew and the people that we do on our team. So
yeah. And you've got a great team with Dv8, including right down to your production. And Lee just made a comment saying it's a play on words to deviate from the norm. Yeah. And I like that a lot. And you've got, you're adding Van Halen. You've got a couple Van Halen freaks in your band now, Aaron Thomas and Steve Krakis.
Can't Halen. See, I'm the Sammy side. Aaron's more the David Lee Roth, and that's cool. It's perfect. It works out very well. But
we'll argue that out on another day. Okay, the Van Hagar versus David Lee Roth era, but that's always a fun argument between everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I'll say that Dv8's done a great job of learning new batches of music regularly to keep it fresh for the crowd. And so I recognize my wife and I went out and heard them recently, and they sound fantastic with the new lineup and the new music they're doing. From our standpoint, talk about fans and set lists and wanting to hear certain things. We are playing less frequently, so our set lists tend to be a little more stagnant right now, just of what's under our fingers. But variety is important, and Dv8's done a great job with that.
Yeah. This whole show, and I want to get into the specifics of it for a minute if we can, and then we'll get back to a couple other thoughts here. But this is going on Saturday at the Blue Note. And one thing I'll say about the Blue Note, this is a perfect venue for this type of event because you have 3 stages in the place. So who's going to be on the main, in the bigger stage in the main room? Who's doing that one? I don't know. I never saw that. Did we know yet?
Yep. Dv8's in the big room.
Okay.
We're in the, I don't know, reception hall, whatever they call it.
Which is equally as big a room. I mean, it's a big room as well. Blue Note's got a lot of space for a lot of people.
Scott, we like this. The stage is shorter, right? So it's easier for us to get up and off that stage. So we prefer that the low stage there.
Is that old age talking or what? That's what I want.
That's just when I fall down, I like to fall shorter distance.
Yeah, it's really cool that you're there, and Sullivan Jansen playing as well in the pub, which is a great little intimate venue to hear a band in. I mean, you can get in there and enjoy the band up close and personal in those rooms. So it's going to be one heck of a party at the Blue Note on Saturday, and they're calling it the Halloween. Listen to me, Valentine's. Well, it could be Halloween, Valentine's Bash, and that I don't know where Halloween came from. Just had a mental blip there, but. Melissa, you guys, I was mentioning production, and I heard rumor that somebody from production may be back this week with you that you're going to have there. Is Todd Buck filling in for himself?
Yes, my beloved brother, Todd. Yes, he will be with us. He'll be with us tonight. It's always great to get him back. And we love him so much.
He is a master at his craft. He is just a wonderful person.
I couldn't catch the show that you guys did on Wednesday live. I listened to it afterwards, but I just love that guy and just everything. He really, you were right. I mean, and I've said it many, many times over again at our shows. People, have heard me say it for years. I mean, Todd's made us he's made our band so incredibly good. And so anytime we get to work with him, it's a pleasure. It's a joy. So absolutely. Right.
He was a great addition to the show on Wednesday. He and Tim Butterfield talking production. We had a great show, and I got so many comments back that they appreciated what Todd had to say, and a lot of musicians taking note of what he had to say. And I thought that was really good and important to the whole community. And let me segue into another thing here. I'm going to put you on the spot for a minute, both of you.
Oh, boy.
All right. Now, I know you have a lot of favorite songs, and you've had a lot of band players through the years that have rotated in and out of your camp, but can be past and present, whatever. Who has a favorite tune that is just their go-to song every show you do? I want to know if you have one.
That's what you ask.
I know.
Our favorites versus crowd favorites are two different things as well. I would say from our end, Tricky is fun for us to perform, and the crowd loves it when we play Tricky. That's we screw that song up just right, I think.
I love it. I love it. Melissa, do you have one?
I personally do not have a favorite. It's my honor every time I get to take that stage and sing for people, and people still want to come out and hear me sing. So the stuff, I mean, as you would expect, I mean, people love Evanescence. They love the Bring Me to Life. That's always been a big one. Last Chance, still a big thing. The Triumph, people love. Any Triumph.
We had several comments about Triumph here in the comments just a minute ago. I mean, people love Triumph. They do.
And it's, when you're a female vocalist and you're covering dude songs, if you will, you always want to make sure that you're doing it justice the best way you can. I have to try to make it a little bit my own because I'm, obviously I'm not those dudes singing those songs, but I I enjoy it very much. It's been a challenge for me. And, you know, my biggest cheerleader, Chuck Reed, always said to me, it's like, you can do it. You just got to know in your mind you can do it. So that's what I do. I do way more dude songs than I do chick songs, which is, you know, unless you come
It's
see
funny,
the
I do a lot of chick songs. So
I know. See, you and I make it, we're a good match. But
sounds like a good mix here to me. It
right,
does.
Right. So no, but favorites, no. I mean, they're all favorites. If the crowd likes them, that's what I'm about.
That's the bottom line. Yeah, if the crowd's having fun,
crowd
we're having
is,
fun.
the crowd's not engaged in what you're doing. Believe me, it's not. It's just not as fun for anybody.
Well, it makes them come back. It does, and that's the important thing. And we're scrolling the event at the bottom here, by the way, just so you know.
You never want to be doing the song or singing the song where everybody gets up and goes to the bathroom or goes to the bar and gets another drink. I mean, you just don't want to be doing that. So we try
I see that at nationals when they say, okay, here's the new cut off my new album, and everybody gets up to go to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like nobody cares. Yeah. They want the hits. They do.
You kind of telling your
about that stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell in your set when people are going to the bar to get the drinks, you know, which ones are holding them or where you're losing them.
Yeah, that'd be a good song to cut next time, right? Yeah. Steve, I know the movie. Why the name of the band years ago? Why the Rusty Griswolds?
Well, so when we first got back together, you know how band meetings are. You sit together and thinking about deep thoughts, and so we needed a name for this 80s band. And originally we were going to be that 80s band because the 70s show had just come out, and someone had already taken that. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So we had a whole list of just 80s iconic names, and Griswolds was on there, the Griswolds, and then I think John said Rusty Griswolds. I was like, that's perfect. We're older guys. We're a little bit rusty. Rusty was the kid. We were the kid at the age of, you know, that time. Now we're grown up. So Rusty Griswolds just tied it all together in a pretty sweet package of from that time period, getting older and still enjoying the 80s.
Yeah, we're getting some love, Melissa, from your bandmates here about the songs they love to hear you sing. And I'll agree with Aaron there on the Who tune. It blows me away every time you do that. And certainly Dewey chiming in as well with Magic Power. I love that one as well. Just some great songs that people are going to be able to hear on Saturday night at the Blue Note. And are we looking to sell this out, you think? What do you guys think?
Well, there are tickets still available at the door, so it's not sold out yet. So yes, we want to sell it out, but certainly, you know, people are, you know, I've seen some comments online where they're like concerned about that, but there's no concerns. Come on, come one, come all. It's a big place, so there'll be plenty of room.
And you can pick up tickets at Cincy Ticket too. What's that, Steve? I'm sorry.
It'd be great if we do sell it up. I'm not sure what number that even is, but I think Doug will find a spot for anybody that shows up.
Yeah, he's good at that. Yeah, absolutely. He's not going to turn that down if he can help it.
No.
So if you want tickets in advance, you can get them on cincyticket.com, or you can get them at the door. Same price at the door, I believe, than without some fees there, I think, even correct, if you want to go get them at the door. But if you want to get them in advance, you can. I believe I heard all the tables and things are pretty much spoken for. Some of those table reservations
tables
and things
gone,
that they do.
Is,
general admission at that point.
Still. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. That's awesome. It's outstanding. So we're going to see 3 great bands on Saturday night. We're going to see, of course, the Rusty Griswolds in the reception hall, for lack of a better term.
I shouldn't call it that, but that.
Yeah, I get works. What it is. It looks like that, and but it's a great room. I mean, it's a wonderful room to see a band in.
The event room, yes.
I didn't hear you, Melissa. Can you try that again?
It's the event room.
Oh, that's even better. Yeah,
we'll
receive you in the event room. That's good.
Yes.
I'll take that. And then the other room is the concert room, or what is it known as?
I don't know.
Yeah, let's call it the big stage.
The big room.
Yeah.
The big room.
I like that.
And can I touch on what it takes to put on a show real quick before we have to go? Because people don't realize, we talked about it Wednesday with the production guys, but Melissa, I admire your production team so much. I mean, they're just off the charts, some of the best people I've ever worked around or with. And they're wonderful people, but this isn't something where you guys just walk in with your microphone, plug it in, and start singing. There's a lot of prep that goes into a show like this. So who wants to talk for a minute about some of that?
Steve.
You want me? Not that. So
Boy, Melissa's throwing it to you every time. Look at her.
Well, people are tired of hearing me talk. I say the same
very
stuff.
Generous that way. That's
I'm very, you know me, I'm very partial to the production because, of course, that's what, we own a production company. And, Lee helps me run that now. Chuck had that for years. And that's how, we came developed this great relationship and brotherhood with Todd Buck. And so many of the production people, I mean, I don't even want to start naming them because I don't want to leave anybody out. But, I know the Griswolds have worked with Barry Taylor for a number of years, decades. I don't even know.
All of them. Yep.
But, yeah. But I mean, again, these guys they are excellent at what they do. But the people also, I would be remiss if I didn't, Lee Reed, my son and stage manager, he works so hard, as does Brian Middendorf, running lights and just, just amazing people. But, it's definitely a group effort, and we all try to help each other, right? Because it is a lot. It's a lot of gear. It's a lot of stuff. Luckily, again, we have the best in the biz. So, Steve, I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah. Well, and just kind of what you said earlier too, Scott, is your sound guy can make or break a band. So the sound person is critical to the success. They control how loud it is. If it's too loud, people are walking out. If it's unbearable, if it's not full enough, right? So it's, Barry's been a full member of our band from day one, and that's how we view him. He's that critical. So timelines for the day, we show up 2 hours prior to doors, typically, and that's allow for setup. And if something goes wrong, you need time to react to it. And that's part of having that timeline built in, so you can troubleshoot something not working that's vital to the show happening. And it takes about an hour for us to load out. So you put the whole day together, and it's
a time commitment for sure.
It's a time commitment, and most of it's fun, but it's work. You got to get it plugged in, and the fun part's the little bit of time you get to perform, and the rest of it really is the unloading the truck and unpacking gear and plugging in and making sure it works.
We always say that we get paid to set up, not to play, because that's the fun part. That's the fun part, for sure. But
it's a great way of putting it. It is.
And again, sound engineer can make or break you. Todd Buck's made me a better singer. There's no doubt about it. And a lot of when you know somebody and you know what they're supposed to sound like, and when they're sick and you can help them out, and that's what a great engineer does. And so yeah, but all of that stuff, and those guys just can't love them enough or say enough great about them.
Well, fantastic information on what you guys are going to do and what's going to happen on Saturday. Let's recap this thing again. The Valentine's Bash, Saturday, the 17th, that's this weekend. The Blue Note, Harrison, the Rusty Griswolds, Dv8, Sullivan Jansen, 3 great bands on 3 great stages. Doors are at 5:30 if you want to get there a little early. 6:30, the music's going to kick off. And do you guys have times for your sets yet? Anything on when you're playing?
Yeah, so this is really important because it is different than a normal night, meaning we're rotating sets. So we're going to start in the, what we call it, event hall at 6:30, and we're going to do a 90-minute set, so 6:30 to 8. Dv8 will be in the big room, 8 to 9:30.
Yeah.
And then we'll do our next set, 9:30 to 10:45. Then Dv8's 10:45 to midnight. So it is a full night of music, nonstop. And the only difference for us is we have longer breaks between our sets. But the crowd's going to have nonstop entertainment, on 2 stages. And then Sullivan and Jansen will be in the pub throughout that night.
And that's a great place to go too. I mean, I always like cutting out for a minute or two. When you play that song we talked about earlier, that I step out to get a beer or whatever, I always try to go to the pub there and hear whoever's in there, because they're oftentimes playing and competing against whoever's in the other room. So we don't want to discount those guys. They're going to have a big night on Saturday. And what's funny is Jeff Vance in Sullivan Jansen, he's going to be with me on Sunday morning at 7 a.m.
What's left of him?
after he plays. He's going to be setting up and doing the Ken Anderson Alliance Autism Rocks event at Laurie's Roadhouse. So that's going to be a little crazy on Sunday for him. I want to see what his eyes look like when he gets there.
Yeah, we'll get him home by then. He'll be fine.
Yeah,
okay. We'll have a curfew on him.
And there'll be definitely be some fun, I think, interaction going on. You know, like I said, Jay Jansen's going to come over and sing a song with me, and maybe I can talk one of those guys to sing another song with me at some point. But
perfect.
Yeah, and a shameless plug. I just want to say, Dv8 tonight will be at Turfway Gaming in Florence, and so Kentucky people, we're going to be on your side of the river, so come see us tonight.
Yeah, you don't even have to cross the river. That's good. You won't even get wet till you get there. All right. It's going to be fun. A lot of great things happening with Dv8 and, of course, the Rusty Griswolds. I'm so glad to see you're playing. Steve, tell them where they can find you on social media real quick.
Well, that's good. Facebook is out there. I think we have a website still. I'm not sure how active it is. In my MySpace, I think it's still functional. So please check all those.
Love it.
Yeah, Facebook's probably the best way to get a hold of us.
Is it the Rusty Griswolds on Facebook?
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay, perfect. And Melissa, you have obviously your website, dv8.com. Is that correct?
No, just Dv8.
Just Dv8.
You got to have the just. If you don't
on the web,
Dv8,
on the website too, right? The website as well.
Okay. Well, the website particularly, because only if you put just Dv8, you won't go to a porn site. So that's very important, Scott.
We were talking about that earlier. Our friend Brandy Evans, who's in Strangelove. Don't type Strangelove into your search engine. That's all I got to say. Okay, it comes back ugly things that you don't want to ever see. So Dv8's on Facebook as well. You'll be out there on Facebook at Just Dv8 if you want to find them. And the ticket link for the Blue Note show again is at cincyticket.com. If you want to order them online, they'll be there ready for you to pick up. Or you can buy them at the door when you get there, and doors are at 5:30. I encourage you to get there early. It's going to be a big crowd. So if you want to get a special spot, you definitely want to be there early. Yeah. Anything else you guys have to add today?
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, really appreciate the opportunity to talk about it, and appreciate what you do.
Man, yeah, it was fun. I wish we had 2 hours to talk about your bands, but it's lunchtime and everybody's going to go back to work, unfortunately, for a few minutes today. And then it's the weekend and we look forward to that.
Yeah.
So I can't encourage enough folks, if you're watching today, get out and see this show this weekend at the Blue Note. If you're not going to do that, get out and support some kind of live local music and the venues that bring it to you, because it's so important to keep this music community alive and rolling like it is. And it's come back after COVID. It was resurrected, so to speak. And we want to keep it rolling the same way. So I want to thank everybody for watching today. I want to thank my special guests, Steve and Melissa, for being here. And again, I'll hit it up.
Thank you, Scott.
You are most welcome. The Rusty Griswolds. I've got a picture of you somewhere, Melissa. Do I?
Yeah.
I wonder. I might have a picture like that. Oh, yes.
We're good.
No, I have a picture of you.
Bye, Scott.
She's trying to get rid of me before I put the picture up. You know that's what she's doing. Thanks for watching, everybody. Guys, thank you so much for being my guest today. We'll see you next time here at All Around Town Radio. Bye-bye, everybody.
Flip on the book of face. Yeah, I know where to go. There's a man on there into the music scene, showing lots of love for the community. With great advice, I know who I should go see. So
don't forget, everybody, the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our sponsors or any entities that they represent.